Okay, so before I show you what I've done to the front, I'm now going to paint the inside of the house. Now this is actually on its side, so it's just easier to paint. As you may be able to see, I have painted around the framework of this. It doesn't really matter what colour it is because no one's really going to see it. But for the inside, I'm actually going to paint a mix of blue and black. In Gizmo's hide I did all black, and that's just because it's nice in a hide because it doesn't reflect much light, and I know for sure that Minnie just prefers a much darker hide. Okay, so the inside is painted. I'm not sure what I'm going to do on this side. Once again, this is going against the wall, so nobody's going to see it. But we are nearly finished with the painting. Okay, so I figured it's about time to show you what the front looks like with all the wooden panels painted on. I'm pretty happy with it. I've gone through and highlighted the tiles on the roof. As well as this, for the wooden pieces I used just the normal burnt umber brown, but to be honest you could use any shade, that's just what it's called. And then I went back and put some highlights in by mixing the brown with orange. It's very subtle, so I don't know if the camera will actually pick it up. I am going to just alter this a little bit, just do a bit more detail on the chimney. But I'm nearly finished. On this spare wall I am actually sort of partially recreating the lantern scene that's in the film. Just because it's a spare wall, no one's really going to see it. And yeah, so now I have to colour in the reflection in the sea. Okay, now that's finished, I am nearly completely finished. I will go back and just repaint a few small pieces inside where there's just a bit of white exposed. But once you've done this stage, the next thing is to use the sealant. Now, you may have seen this in the back of my videos. This is Mod Podge. I think you can kind of see it. I've used this on Gizmo's hide, as some of you may know, and it does fine in dry tanks, but if you are making a hide for, say, a crested gecko who need a humid tank, you may need to use a different sealant. Now, I'm not really sure which one you'd use, but there are two great channels on YouTube that I watched before making my first hide. It sort of inspired me to make my first hide, and that is Lizard Landscapes and Becky Wheeler. They're both really, really good, and I know they do hides for reptiles that live in humid hides, so maybe check out their videos for what sort of sealant they use. But for me, I am using this. Okay, so what I've done now is I've mixed a tiny bit of water with the glue. I actually need to mix it in, I just added it. You don't need too much because this is sort of water based anyway, but this just helps it get around a bit more. When you first apply it, it may look like really, really white, like you've lost a lot of colour, but once it dries it looks fine. Now, the best technique I found last time was to dab it rather than do strokes of the glue, because there is the potential of spreading some of the paint, so I am just going to dab it. and this will be my first layer. Okay, so this is after the first coat of glue. As you can see, it does dry completely clear. It is a lot more robust, but with every layer it will get much stronger. One thing I forgot to mention was that the glue I'm using is matte rather than glossy, because obviously glossy will be a lot more reflective than this, so if you don't want that kind of look, go for matte. So now I'm going to add the second layer. It's a bit later on in the day, and as you can see, this is still drying, but it is much clearer than earlier. Usually I will just do this layer of glue and just leave it for the rest of the day, but remember with this you have to go all around the outside or the inside, underneath, like everything has to be covered in this. This is a very important layer. Okay, the house has finally completely dried. I've done all the coats of glue that I needed. I went and put some extra around the door frame and the stairs. So next it'll be time to move in with Minnie. Okay guys, so I've put the house in a vivarium. I think you'll agree it takes up a lot of room. But if you're new to my channel, you might not know that Minnie, this particular leopard gecko, was, I say born, but you know what I mean, hatched, with a dodgy eye, which means that although she does walk around her vivarium, she definitely likes dark hides, and there's plenty of room in that house, so I'm very happy with that. I think she'll enjoy it as well. So this brings me to the end of the video. If you make anything like this, you can send it to me on Instagram or Facebook, and also if you follow me on either of them, I'll probably post a picture at some point if I find Minnie in there, which I'm sure I will. Thank you very much for watching, and goodbye.